it's Rosemary Manners here, Australia's leading natural and traditional pharmacist. And today I'm going to talk about health blocks. And isn't it funny, when you start thinking about things and start sort of looking around you, you see them all the time. There's health blocks out there all the time. And so it's really quite funny being able to recognise them. And what I've done is I've categorised them to make it really easy for you to pick out when there's a health block. And with a health block, if you can find there's a health block, then the most fantastic thing is to be able to change them. So 12 months ago, and I'm not saying I don't have health blocks, but 12 months ago I did the stats. So I'm 51 years of age. I don't have a chronic illness. I exercise on most days. I try my best with eating as much as what I sort of say I do. I've got a normal body composition and I avoid chemicals when I can. So I did the maths, and that's really my way of life. I don't find it difficult. I just do it. And if I do the maths, it places me in the top 10% of the healthiest women for my age in Australia. I regularly do the City to Surf. I'm training for the City to Surf at the moment. In the last couple of years, I've noticed I'm in the top 20% of all women who run the City to Surf. I mean, I'm not even a runner. I spent my youth in the swimming pool. So it's really fantastic. And I'm not bragging. This is not about me bragging about what I can do, but I'm trying to reflect on what I do so to make it easier for you. And I think what I do, and it might have been, it's taken me a little while, but I try and uncover my health blocks, and then I can move forward and encourage me along on my health journey. So I didn't start with any special advantages. I don't have big feet that I can swim faster with or any particular advantages. In fact, in the school playground, my nickname, I really like sharing this, but my name was Fatso Four Eyes. Like, I was really sort of the outcast in my school playground. Kids can be so mean. But anyway, I didn't come from anywhere special, but yet somehow I've got to a stage where I'm sort of in the top healthiest people in Australia. And so I think it's the choices I make. And when I hit a block, I try and find my way around that block and try and recognize it as a block. So it's got me thinking about how to identify these blocks and how we can sort of identify them and move around them. So I started asking you guys, I started asking my clients, the people in the shop, what are their blocks? What's initiating? So I started digging deeper and deeper and trying to find the sabotages. What's sabotaging you from what behavior from getting to the goal where you want to, and trying to sort of nut out these drivers that we can uncover. And it's funny because what I uncovered really sort of surprised me, and I could look into it and I could see some of myself. It's the same blocks that I've sort of got around in my sort of, that I see and sort of found ways around it. It's the same blocks out there that are blocking health again and again and again. So I was going to give you an example so you can see what I'm sort of talking about. So I had a client called Jenny, and she came to my clinic and she was there for weight loss, and she was doing so well each week. She'd get to her goals and it was really fantastic. And then she had a bad week. So her body composition changed the opposite direction. And so what's happening? What's happening, Jenny? How is this week different from the last week or the week before that or the week before that when you were getting outstanding results? And she told me a story. Her boss had given her a project to do where she had to do a presentation. And that she started getting really anxious about it and really worried about it. And the fear snowballed into other sections of her life. And it sort of undermined her confidence. And then unbeknown to her, because none of this was conscious, she made a decision that she was not enough. And so she was not enough, so that grew the anxiety. She wasn't enough she didn't feel like she had the confidence to eat the correct foods. She ended up, when we started talking about it, she'd had an argument with her partner, and we were talking about all these things. And it was so funny because when we were watching the patterns and I was sort of saying, oh, well, is there a pattern there and what's happening? She just burst out laughing. She said, and she was in hysterics. I said, what are you laughing at? What's happening? And she said, wow, wow, this has happened before and I never even recognized it. And it's when she sort of sabotages herself, and she could see it in other places. And she just burst out laughing and she said, gosh, if only I'd realized this before. So she learned that the fear, when her triggers were pushed for fear, that fear would sort of like trigger something in her unconscious mind, and her decisions would change, and it would be like sabotaging her. And so it not only sabotaged her in her work life, it was sabotaging her in her nutritional life, and it was sabotaging her in her relationship life. And it was funny because that's what she was laughing at, because she could see the same pattern going back in her life at different times. And so she just laughed and she says, I don't need this fear. I don't need this happening in my life. And she laughed so much, and in the end she said, well, I'm not going to have this anymore. And so she let it go, and then her results blossom from there. So that's just an example that recognizing a health block, she just laughed it away, but finding a way around the health block and then continuing along with your health journey. So that's exciting, isn't it? So there is great merit in finding the health blocks. And in a moment, we're going to go through the health blocks so that you can understand them too. So I can show you the most common health blocks. You might find there's other ones out there, but I'll show you the ones that I see in clinic again and again. And to be honest, like, you might own more than one. But be honest with when you're looking at the health blocks and how you feel within yourself. It won't do any harm. It's not harmful to recognize these health blocks. And once you own it, then that's the most exciting bit. That's when you get the change. That's when you get the growth. And yes, you might get a little bit vulnerable when you sort of think, oh, is that me? Do I believe that I'm not enough? Or do I really believe in that way of thinking? And it does. It feels you a little bit vulnerable, but I'm going to encourage you to learn from it and grow from it. And then you'll get the growth, and that block will cease to be a block. So, yeah. I hope you're with me on this, because to me, this is so exciting. So imagine being able to get through these health blocks. Imagine being able to be a really sort of iconic person in your family as being the health person in your family, and being able to sort of ride your way through life without too much unwellness, because we're sort of looking for wellness wherever we're making our health decisions. Okay, so I've identified 6 health blocks. So right along with me, I'll tell you what they are, and then we'll go through each one of them as we go. So my first one I like to call it, is my fixed health block. The second one is a reward for goodness. The third one is believing the signs. The fourth one is my superhero block. The fifth one is the excuse block. And the sixth one we're already a bit familiar with from Jenny, the I'm not good enough block. Anyway, we'll go through each of them. You might recognize elements in one or two or none of them, but be honest and see how we go and see if anything comes up for you. So the first one is the fixed mindset. So this is where you judge everything as right or wrong, or I am or I'm not, or it's yes or it's no. My symptoms cannot be changed. I know they can't be changed. I already know everything. Health is boring. I'm not even really interested in it. I deserve good health. I just deserve it. That's all there is to it. It's just rotten luck. Just rotten luck. Nothing I can do. It's just fixed. It's rotten luck. And that sort of goes along with, it's my genes. As if there's sort of some genes out there that are just ordaining on you. I attract bad health. I avoid thinking about health. I am what I am. People can like me for who I am. That's it. There's no thing there. So you've probably heard all these things from your friends or from around. You might be able to think of some other things of somebody with a health block where it's fixed. There's no change. It is or it isn't. And it is and it isn't, and there's nothing you can do, and it's just stuck. Well, yeah, that's a block. That's a real health block. Thinking that there's no growth, there's no learning, there's no way around it. It's like this big, massive 6-story wall, and that's it. That's the end. That's it. Anyway, that one was called the fixed mindset, and I don't know whether you can identify it with yourself or with people around it, and see what you come up with. Well, after you start thinking of these things, you'll probably recognize it with people around it as well as inside yourself. Okay, so that's with the fixed mindset, the fixed health block. Number 2 is a reward for goodness. So the classic one here is the 5-2 diet. Well, I've had 2 days in this week where I haven't eaten anything. So tonight, yeah, I'll have cream pudding, I'll have extra Chardonnay, I might even have some bread, some rice. I'll really lash out. Well, it doesn't work like that, and you don't need to be rewarded for goodness. And if you've done if you had a fantastic time and had a great presentation, you don't need a food reward at the end of it. If I've been to the gym, going to the gym, and then I'll come back and eat cream cake because I've been so good going to the gym. Like, very often, I see this all the time, is when I do something that I think is goodness inside me, then I reward myself with unhealthy food or unhealthy drink. And it's in our society all the time. And it's not that it's all bad, and it's not that it's all a mistake or anything. It's just recognize that pattern, that health block, because when it happens again and again and again, and it takes you away from your health plan, then it's not very helpful. It's sort of like a blocking, because you're not going to get the results you want. You're not going to be the sort of like the ball of health that you're planning. It's going to take you away. And I love rewards. Don't get me wrong. Love rewards, but they don't always need to be food or drink. Because there's other rewards out there where it seems like often we get a hardwired, I've done this, then I deserve that. I've just looked after the kids all day. I've had them, it's been such a stressful day. The kids are all in bed. Now where's my reward? Well, what could it be? There could be 1,000 rewards. It could be a bath. It could be a shower. It doesn't have to involve sugar. It could, but it doesn't have to always involve sugar. So rewards are great. We love rewards, and we love rewards for goodness, but it doesn't need to be hardwired with something that takes you away from your health, because then it becomes a health block. So what did you think about that one? Can you identify that? Do you know anybody that does that? Do you know yourself? I know I did for many years. It's the reason I drank a lot of alcohol at different times, because it was my reward. But now I drink, if I'm going to drink, I'm going to drink it because I really enjoy it. It's not going to be a reward for something that I've done during the day. And, you know, if you take that away and split up the rewards, you find that you don't necessarily have to do those things all the time. You do it when you really love it and you've got some gratitude for it. So give it a go. See how you go. See if that applies to you or the people behind you or around you. Okay, so we've got 2 so far, the fixed health block and the reward for goodness health block. Let's try the 3rd one. It's believing the signs, I call it. Believing the signs. People will argue to me, we're black and blue in the face. It's got the sign organic on it, and it's got the sign healthy on it. It's got the word 0 on it. It definitely must be okay for me. It's got low GI. It's got natural. Some famous Hollywood stars been drinking and eating it all their lives, and look at them, they're okay. Gluten-free, that's the newest thing. Gluten-free. There's aisles in the local Coles up the road. There's aisles of gluten-free stuff. Are they all healthy? Not necessarily, but they've got that sign that people think, it must be healthy. Well, they're not always healthy just because they've got this magic sign on it. And in fact, there was just in the news this week where there was some products, like a whole heap of products that were found on the supermarket shelves here in New South Wales, in Sydney, that contained sugars, and they weren't labelled on the outside. So part of this is the manufacturers. The manufacturers want you to buy their product. So they want to put sugar in it. There's 59 different words of sugar. They want to put as much sugar in as they can because you become addicted to that sugar, a bit like a mouse coming up after the cheese. They want you to keep on going and buying their product. They're going to put lots of key words on it so that you think that's going to be a good thing to have. They're going to put these magic words, and then you go in and think, that's good. I'm going to buy that. I'm going to eat that. So this sort of this block of is, I call it believing the signs, because not everything on the signs is what as it appears. And it's going a bit deeper, looking at ingredients, asking people, maybe taking a step away from processed food towards real foods, because you know where it comes from. It comes from the plant, it comes from the bush, it comes from the root, it comes from the tree, like it comes from an animal. You can see exactly where it has been. So you don't need to do so much research down the processing plant, the processing. So that's a health block. Believing the signs, thinking that there might be, not thinking that there might be something more to it, or there's some more growth or some more information that you can find out about it. So beware of that one. And it's not necessarily something you always have a control about, because it's the big companies, the big marketing companies. They're all out there trying to sort of talk you into their product because their product is the best product. Well, it sometimes is and sometimes isn't. So again, we've got to look and sort of work out what the signs mean and whether it really means it's the right food for me right now. So there we go. So believing the signs. So that was number 3. Number 1, fixed mindset, reward for goodness, and believing the signs. Okay, went up to number 4, the superhero. And I bet you know somebody like this. The superhero is that person that is invincible. It's like, my body is made of steel. Like in Australia at the moment, 1 in 3 women the statistics say 1 in 3 women will have cancer before they're 80. And 1 in 2 men will experience and live with cancer before they're 80. But that's the other people. That's not me. That's that. If it's 1 in 2, well, that's the other person. If it's 1 in 3, that's the other person. It's not going to happen to me. I'm invincible. I could eat all these foods and do no exercise and leave a sedentary lifestyle when I was 20, and that's fine. I managed to survive that age, so why do I need to change? It's going to happen to all those other people. And it's really awful, and I really sympathize with all those other people that have got all those other things happening to them, but it's not me. It's always those other people. So I think that's interesting, because you look at the statistics, but then the statistics don't seem to come back onto your lap. It goes onto somebody else's lap. So yeah, it's sort of interesting that superhero, that we have this belief that health isn't so important to me. It's more important to all those other people. Well, yeah. Well, I think that's a block. That's a health block. So keep on thinking about that. Are you the superhero? Does it always happen to you? Are you have this belief that you've got this aura around you that's going to keep everything away that might happen to you? So I hope it works, but it doesn't always work. And I think sometimes having this decision stops the growth, and it might sort of stop us from making a different health decision. So it becomes a health block. Okay. All right, so the next one. The next one is the excuse block. So this happens, I hear it in clinic, I hear it in the shop. It's too hard, it's too expensive. It takes too much time. And then the list goes on. I can't do that. And then, oh no, my family wouldn't like that. My children wouldn't like that. They just do this. So it's like these excuses. I've got this on, or I've got that on, or oh no. Like it goes on. It can be anything. I've probably just thought of the most boring excuses. But some of the excuses are very exciting. I've got to travel. I've got to work. I've got to look after my children. I've got to earn $1 billion today. Like all these excuses that I can't choose healthy. I can't choose health. Why can't I choose health? Why can't I earn $1 billion and be healthy? Why can't I make it into something that's not expensive? Why can't I budget health as well as I can budget unhealth? Why can't I make it easy strategies? Why can't I make it easy? And I think what all these excuses boil down to is basically it's not fun. I don't believe I'm going to have fun. Health is not fun. Well, I don't believe that. I think health is the funnest thing that I've ever done. I love health and I love finding new strategies, and that's why I'm so excited about these health blocks, because imagine if we can identify them and identify these things that sabotage us. Then we won't have to be sabotaged. We can all be the most healthiest versions of ourselves that we could even imagine. So keep at it. Watch those excuses. And then I'm going to share with you the last one, which you've already met already, the I am not a good enough block. So like Jenny that we talked about in the example, so it's these emotions that get in the way, and we've all got them. We've all got these emotions, like it could be fear, it can be guilt, it can be anger, it can be frustration. I had a client, it was a couple of years ago, but every time she felt lonely, she'd eat jelly beans. Like, it's fine to feel lonely, but if you're looking for health and you're eating vast quantities of jelly beans, well, that's a bit of a conflict there. So it's identifying those negative emotions that we seem to hold on to. We get this idea that I'm not good enough, I will not be. I've sounded a bit like Marissa Peer. Have you met Marissa Peer? She's the one that tells everybody to write I am good enough in pink lipstick on your mirror in the morning. So that it's there when you wake up, you look at yourself in the mirror and you see I am good enough. And that's a great strategy. It's not my strategy, it's her strategy, but it is. Like, we tend to get really caught up in our negativity. We make these decisions in our unconscious mind, and they become a health block. They stop us from choosing the health that we'd otherwise choose. So what do you think of the health blocks? Can you identify anything there for you? Can you recognize it? So be honest. So be honest with yourself, and be honest, sort of like finding your way. And you might find one, you might find none, you might find one I've never thought of. But that's okay. Just identify them, grow with them, go through the vulnerability. You might need to find some help. Find a coach out there to help you get around it. Once you identify it, then it's easy to find the growth. It's experience the vulnerability, being curious, being inquisitive, having fun with it, and thinking, well, what other strategies can I use? Is this strategy helping me? Is there another strategy that I could use that would serve me better? So just imagine the fun that you can have getting past this. It's like waiting in traffic, and you're stuck behind the traffic, and you've been there for quite a long time, and then suddenly the traffic clears within you. The traffic clears on the road in front of you, and you can go all the way through. Isn't that fun? You can move ahead, and that's what I want to instill with you. So just recapping the health blocks, just so that you've got them all in your head, easy to know. Let me find my little notes here. We've got so I want to get them in order for you. The fixed mindset. So when things are stuck, we've got the reward for goodness health block. We've got believing the signs. They're not all true. The superhero block is never going to happen to me. The excuse block, and I'm sure you can think of better excuses than the examples I have. They're all out there. And the I am not enough health block. So there's 6 blocks there. How do you make 6 with your fingers? 6 health blocks. Find them. Get around them. Move forward with your health. Head towards health. Head towards wellness. And have fun in the journey, and it'll be great, and it won't be hard. So if you need some help, just leave some messages down below, and I'll see you next week on my health show. It's going to be 12 o'clock Wednesday, health cheat sheets. I hope this is a good cheat for you. I think it's fantastic, and I hope you can move ahead with your health once you've seen this little video. See you next week.